Summoner spells are an integral part of League of Legends. In every game we play, there are 10 of these spells ready to be used, and these are some of the most impactful cooldowns all of us have access to. So it makes sense that when Riot changed one of these, it causes a lot of commotion because depending on the severity of the buff or nerf, it might define how we play the game. So in today's video, the Jizz will soon reveal the Summoner spell Riot are changing in the preseason, and I will also go into detail here as to why this is going to be game defining. Now, to make sure you don't miss any of our preseason content, where we update you on all the goings on with League of Legends, hit that subscribe button, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this change, so feel free to leave those in the comment section. Right, so let's get into it. So the Balance team are throwing their first big curveball of the preseason, and the Summoner spell they are targeting is Teleport. And to fully understand the change that we will get into shortly, we have to understand what Teleport is doing in its current state. So I'm sure we all know by now that when you hit that Teleport spell, you send your character to that unit you are TPing to. And notice how I said unit. This could be a turret, a ward, a Shaco box, a Thresh Lantern, a Zac blob. There are so many possibilities, which in turn increases the viability of TP because there are more avenues to actually TP into a fight and unleash. But this isn't only why TP is used, it's also a great tool for laners to gain as much gold and especially experience as possible, because if they TP back to lane, they minimize their losses. They don't have to run back to lane like a Darius with Flash and Ghost might have to. So the current iteration of Teleport is great for pretty much any top lane champion because it's their main way of influencing the rest of the map. If a fighter Dragon breaks out, TP. If you are split pushing bot lane in the late game and a fighter Baron breaks out, TP. Now this is the case for both solo queue and pro play. Even for mid laners, TP is a very popular spell these days because being a global threat on the map is a big deal, and for lots of mid lane champions, team fighting is where they can really shine. Think of champions like Syndra and Orianna in pro play. But the downside is that you are giving up a fighting summoner spell. So if your opponent has Flash and Ignite, or Flash and Barrier, that was directed at you Lux mains, then you are not as strong for that 1v1 because, well, you can't exactly use TP when you're fighting unless you have sausage fingers and accidentally misclick. But to be honest, this downside is well worth taking for all the positives of Teleport. You might have to play a little more passive in lane, but you are sacrificing the laning agency for map agency. So I know you guys are screaming, Jizz, can you tell us what the changes are? Alright, calm your farm. So the Gold NA Balance team are thinking of making these changes, and these are live on the PBE right now. So after channeling for 4 seconds, so this is all the same so far, but wait for it. This teleports your champion to the targeted allied structure. This then upgrades automatically into Unleash Teleport at 14 minutes, which is what we know Teleport to be at the moment. So the first big talking point, aside from the fact it's called Unleash Teleport, the allied structure bit. So this basically means you can only TP to one of your turrets before 14 minutes. Now this is huge for so many reasons, and remember, leave your thoughts on these changes in the comments. So reason number one, for those top laners or mid laners who love TPing to a ward strategically placed behind the enemy bot lane so you can go boo, there are going to be no more jump scares. So with this change, the only time you would TP to the bot lane is to fight off a potential dive. That's it. So the big effect this will have is that it will isolate mid and particularly top lane a heck of a lot more. The 1v1 will be much more of a 1v1. So you will really have to know how to play your matchups, and that goes without saying of course, but that is now essential. Now reason number two, for mid and top laners and some AP carry bot laners like Ziggs or Syndra, this will have a legit impact on wave management, because think about it, you can no longer teleport to minions during the laning phase. At the moment this is really useful because you can protect that minion you are TPing to, and when you finish the TP you can hold up the enemy wave and freeze it. So with this change your minions are just going to die, and you probably won't get to the enemy minions before they crash into your tower. Also because of this, it might mean you miss more minions because you are TPing further away from the minion wave. And reason number three as to why this is going to have a massive impact, if you're a team fighting top laner like Ornn, Malphite, some sort of tank, or maybe even a bruiser like Renekton who likes to fight in the early game, when your bot lane and mid laner start fighting the enemy team at Dragon, how do you influence it? Well, with the new TP you can't. You would have to teleport preemptively, so well before the fight even starts, and if you don't win the fight, you just wasted a lot of time for nothing. So not only does it decrease your map presence as a solo laner if you want to impact the lane with your TP, but also your team's objective play. So what will this mean for your run-of-the-mill solo queue? Well, this will certainly encourage solo laners who are running teleport to consider another option. For example, if you're a top laner, the chance to run Flash and Ignite again is exciting. It's like we're back in Season 2. Shout out to all you boomers out there. And like I said, this is because because there will be a much bigger emphasis on the 1v1. But here's the thing that lots of players don't understand. Teleport, yes, it's not useful for a straight up fizz fight, but it is actually extremely valuable for your lane. As we touched on before, it allows you to accumulate golden experience. It also allows you to stamp down on your lead, because if you kill the enemy top laner, then teleport back to lane with that item advantage, easy clap. So the top lane in particular is going to be even more matchup dependent, so getting counterpicked is more of a threat just because laning has a bigger sway on the outcome of a game. But in the big picture, this teleport is for sure a buff to champions who don't actually rely on teleport to be useful. So the most obvious example is Shen. You have a global ultimate that you can use to peel one of your carries. Great, and you can use this at the location of a fight, unlike the new TP where you can only TP to a turret. Another champion that springs to mind is Ryze. Your ultimate, though it isn't global, can be used to cover distance, and the point here, just like Shen's ultimate, you can use it on top of the fight, right next to the fight, so you can get to the fight directly, whereas the new TP, it's like a detour. Same idea with Pantheon. Kled and Quinn are also good shouts because they can cover a lot of ground quickly. These champions can impact the map from their kit alone. They don't need to use a summoner spell to do so. But to be honest, this may have the biggest impact on the bot lane, because if you are winning lane, then you don't have to worry about that auto-filled Malphite TPing behind you. During the laning phase, the teleport, if it does come in from the enemy team, will be right in front of you, giving you the time to react and escape that potential dangerous situation. So just like the top lane, the actual bot lane matchup you are in will be huge. So if you blind pick Vayne and the enemy AD carry picks Draven, well, let's hope your jungler is smurfing. Now what's also interesting is that for all you supports out there, roaming towards mid or top lane could be even more beneficial, because if more champions are not running teleport, if you can kill them, this could start the snowball that ends the game, because they won't be able to teleport back to stay close in terms of experience. So champions like Pyke and Bard come to mind. Now another talking point is the 14-minute timer the balanced team has gone with, and this does make sense if Riot's intention is to add importance to the laning phase, because at this time turret plays are no longer available, and you're only 5 or so minutes away from Baron spawning, and the third dragon of the game could be spawning as well. So the game should be transitioning from being about the lane into a more teamfight oriented experience. This is when teleport will go back to its usual state, where you can TP to units and you have more playmaking potential around the map. So what do you guys think? Is this new version of teleport going to determine which champions are good and which champions are bad? Does it mean that Ignite top lanes are all of a sudden the meta? Any thoughts you have, smash them in the comments, and also make sure to smash that like button if you did enjoy the video, and make sure to check out the GameLeap website in the description and comment section for the ultimate challenge of videos you need to master a champion. To master a role, we have that info in spades, so get that exclusive access by signing up, and until tomorrow's daily preseason upload, this has been the Jib.